And so what happens if it falls apart? All right, I'm just going to declare bankruptcy. Hi, Jeff Mersace, the Plain English Attorney, and today we're going to talk about what exactly did Donald Trump do to end up getting accused, indicted in a civil case in New York, and have a judge actually declare that he committed fraud. All right, let's clear away just a few things here. Because the media is more about sensationalism and it's really not about the facts. So here's exactly what happened. Yes, Trump was adjudicated to have committed fraud. It was one of these civil lawsuits by the Attorney General from the state of New York on his business practices. And what happened was the judge got all of the information. The state filed for something called summary judgment. What does that mean? It's like, look, the facts are so clear and obvious and not really disputed in any meaningful way that we should just proceed to the next step. And in a lot of the charges against Trump and the Trump organization, that's exactly what happened based on all of the filings, all of the books. Here's what things are worth, all the valuations. The judge looked and said, look, it's undisputed. This is exactly what happened. It was fraud. If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel. So what else? We don't need a jury to decide what the appraisals and numbers mean. Now, here's another thing that was out there. Oh, it needs to be for a jury to determine. Well, no, that's like saying 2 + 2 is 4. Well, I don't think it is. I think it's 5, and we need a jury to determine it. No, because no reasonable jury would be able to reach the conclusion that 2 + 2 is 5 just because the lawyers say so and they're persuaded. No. We're not going to bog down the court. We're not going to bog down a jury having to sit through possibly months of trial just to determine what is already here and in front of everybody. The other thing that I've heard is from Trump is, well, I can just get someone from Saudi Arabia to buy a property for whatever I want. Oh my God, that reeks of corruption. It's like, well, yeah, I did all these political favors for someone, so if I ask them to buy something worth $200 million for $2 billion, they'll go ahead and do it because they want me to get reelected. They want to clear this away so that I can continue to do stuff for them. No. That's ridiculous. Again, it's all based on facts. It's based on appraisals from people who this is their job, is to appraise properties and come to a conclusion of here's what things are worth. So what exactly did Trump do in this fraud? He used values for properties. On one hand, he wanted to take out loans to do other projects, and he completely inflated the value of the assets. But when it came to taxes, those exact same properties were shrunk to far below their actual value. And so Trump has said on a lot of occasions, I'm, quote, the king of debt. It's like, well, no, you really did this in a way that's illegal, unethical, immoral, and not based on the facts and the numbers in reality. And then what happens if you take out all of this money? There isn't actually enough property to secure whatever that loan was. Well, just declare bankruptcy. And so who gets stuck with the bill? It's everybody else who was invested in that bank or that lending institution. They're the ones who lose out because of these exaggerated numbers. And the taxpayers lose because he's not paying the fair share of taxes based on severely undervaluing the exact same properties. So we've put together a slide to just kind of walk through an example, and let's talk about this example. It's extremely exaggerated to show you the numbers, and at the same time, it's very simplistic. We're only using a couple of properties. This is inflated 10 times at each step in this example just to make the impact very clear. But this was done somewhere about, on average, 2 to 3 times value when taking out loans, in some cases a lot more, over a lot of different properties to make the money come in. And then on the taxes, well, all of them were severely depleted, or at least the vast majority of them, the ones that are being contested in court in this whole proceeding about fraud, so that the taxes weren't paid. So let's jump right into the example and I can narrate through this. All right, so let's just assume we've got somebody, they have a house, the actual fair market value is $200,000 and it's paid off. All right, so they've got this $200,000 asset. So they go to a bank because now they want to actually get a commercial loan for a commercial building and to rent that out. Let's just say it's office suites. And the fair market value is $2 million. So they put in loan paperwork and sign, hey, this is being secured by the collateral of my house, and saying my house is worth $2 million. $2 million. Okay, so they've inflated it 10 times. So now they've got this commercial rental. Fair market value is $2 million. And let's just assume, okay, well, there's income that's coming in. Okay, this is good. Everything's fine. And they're able to make the payments on the loan, even though they didn't have the security of an actual asset backing that loan. Now we go to a different bank. Hey, I've got this rental property and now I want some apartment rentals. And so, okay, well, I'm going to say that the value of my commercial rental isn't 2 million, it's 20 million. So they send in the paperwork for that loan. Hey, here's this property that I have, a commercial rental. It's worth 20 million. We want a $20 million loan because we're going to get an apartment complex with a fair market value of actually $20 million. So look, hey, it's all secured. They get that, they purchase it. Okay, so now this commercial rental and the apartment rental, well, they've got the money coming in. So, okay, they're able to cover the loans. Let's go do something else. They go to a third bank. All right, we're going to take out some loan, paperwork, and we're going to get a kind of big complex worth $200 million. It's going to be a center where there are some commercial but also residential, and it's this big complex. It's worth $200 million. So we're going to say, hey, this apartment complex that we have, it's not $20 million, it's worth $200 million. So we've inflated that value to $200 million in order to get the loan for this combined apartment complex and combined apartment and commercial complex with an actual value of $200 million. Then they go to a fourth bank. All right, we need another loan. We've got this apartment and commercial complex. We're going to say it's worth $2 billion, not $200 million. And then they get the cash and, okay, I'm putting the cash in my pocket. That's not exactly what happened. They kept putting it into property, but you can see here where, all right, I'm a billionaire. I have $2 billion, but it's all on borrowed money. All right, so here's the thing. Now you've got this commercial rental property. You've got an apartment complex. You have a combined mega complex with a commercial rentals and apartments. And you took out all of this money and at the end, put it into your pocket. What actual equity did you have? You had a house worth $200,000, and you lied all the way along the line. If anything happens and there's something severe where you can't meet the payments on the loans on even one of these, you have to start shuffling things around. or take the money out of the pocket and move it. So it's this shell game, and it's only going to work if everything is going well enough to cover these loans, but you're only worth $200,000. And so what happens if it falls apart? All right, I'm just going to declare bankruptcy. But all of it was based on fraud and lies when making those applications to the banks for those loans. All right, so what about the tax angle? Because now we're getting into another area where all of those same exact properties were severely deflated, not just from what he claimed in the loans, but from what they actually were. So, again, extreme examples here, saying it's only worth a tenth. So for taxes, this is the recap. The actual property value is $222,200,000. The amount that was borrowed was $2,222,000,000. So a discrepancy of almost $2 billion. All right, so let's take a look at the taxes. So for the house, all right, the actual value is $200,000. Now, there's no way they'd get away with actually saying it was only worth $20,000, but you get the point that they're reducing the value for taxes, so it's actually below fair market value, not even just below what they claimed on the loans. And now we've got the commercial rental with the actual fair market value of $2 million, and they're like, oh no, it's only worth $200,000 for paying the taxes. The apartment rentals, fair market value $20 million. No, we're only going to say it's worth $2 million. And now we've got the combined apartment complex and commercial worth $200 million. No, that's only worth about $20 million. So the discrepancies here, the actual property value, $222,200,000, claimed tax value, only $22,220,000. With, again, a discrepancy of a huge amount, almost $200 million, in order to pay less in taxes. So this is how he accumulated a whole bunch of, quote, wealth. It's all borrowed. So all of this is just likely to fall apart if there's any bad downturn in business. And it's happened. He's poured money into casinos. He's poured money into other business ventures that didn't work out, using a lot of these techniques in order to secure the property with money from banks. Okay, what else is this? What's another angle? If he got personal investors involved, so they were putting up their money to invest in these types of properties. Now it's people's money, not some bank as an institution. He took personal investors and took their money and inflated the value of the project in order to get that money. And then if it falls apart, well, okay, Chapter 11, let's go to bankruptcy. And now it's the shareholders that lose out on the value. So in doing business with him, they're the ones who lost money in the bankruptcy part of it. So this is exactly what the court is saying. You can't do this. You can't take out more than $2 billion in loans based on the fact that you've got equity in a property, in an asset, in assets that you inflated to a severe degree in order to secure that loan, and you signed saying, yeah, this is fine. So right now, Trump has been adjudicated a fraud. I'm sure it's being appealed, but okay, they're proceeding to the damages phase on most of that, and that's what's happening starting in the beginning of October 2023. They're going to have trials to go over exactly what is the amount. There's not going to be anything in this trial of whether or not these instances were fraud. It's all based on the paperwork that was submitted. It's clear, the numbers are here. You can't argue it isn't fraud. So that's exactly what's going on. And I know this is more than you're ever going to get in the media because they're like, quick, 30-second sound bites. What can we do? And they're not telling the full truth because it takes too long to explain, and people are just going to switch the channel. So instead of giving you a full picture, they're just going to trigger some emotional response one way or the other, depending on which channel you're watching and what audience they're trying to cater to. So if you have, quote, the liberal media, oh, Trump's a fraud. Can you believe this? He deceived people. They're not going to tell you how. And you go to the other side, conservative media. Oh, this is just unfair. They're targeting him because he's the front runner for the GOP nominee. Just parroting whatever Trump's. No, look, the numbers are there. He committed fraud. Don't believe everything you see in a headline in the media. Do a little bit more homework and dig, particularly in sources you may not be used to going to. All right, so I hope you found that informative and entertaining. As I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. So make it a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.